Hello, hello, hello. It's Catherine Quarantine here again. Yes, I know, I'm on my smart world tour. excuse, of South Africa. And because I'm still in Durban for a while now, I decided to come and look at these beautiful sunken gardens and amphitheatre. Now, sunken gardens, now why are they sunk? Well, as you can see, the wind is quite hard. And when I was running this morning, I come in here and the wind is a lot less than out there on the beachfront. So it was built like a long clearer. In sort of like 1934 was the architect, William Murray Jones. He was the architect of the gardens, and apparently there's two different stories. One story says that it was the Italian prisoners of war, and the government at the time was so strapped for cash that they decided they didn't have the funds to keep all the Italians as prisoners. So they used it on good faith that the prisoners wouldn't escape if they did something and worked for the council. But I don't know if I trust that story. There's another story that the government was actually so concerned with the depression that was going on that they decided to give so many jobs, and these gardens were built by the people for jobs. Now that's summer maybe, but I don't know. It's also the 1930s. I'll have to go and research. But right now, they were revamped in 2010 because, of course, then was lekker the World Cup, and it's also, you see all those lekker big hotels. They were the posh hotels in the 80s and the 90s, and this whole stretch of Durban's beachfront is known as the Golden Beachfront. So anyway, the amphitheatres. Now, why were amphitheatres used? Now, we're talking in the 1930s, before this sort of little lekker thing was here, and before there was movies, and in fact, Durban didn't even have any water at that time because they hadn't found the fresh lode underneath the area, which that's another skit. But for today, I'm sort of standing in one of the quaint little things where I think, there was a source of entertainment needed, and the people would come and dress up in wigs and fancy costumes perhaps, and give a little performance for the public. And there's lots of these little amphitheatres and promenades along the promenades. And I'm thinking, somewhere now in the lockdown, all these acting students should come and give free shows, because not only will they get practice of doing it in public, but they'll get maybe seen by somebody, and who knows what can happen. You see, and I think in the time of the 30s, when just over the side there, all this grass was so lekker, because those women, they didn't so much like grass, sand in all their Victorian dresses and all their frilly underwear. But they also like to be entertained and keep the people entertained in the Durban heat. Yes. And you see, the reason why I know it's 1934, because over there, that amphitheatre piece there's a Roman numeral date of 1934. So, I'm in this little amphitheatre and I'm going to practice. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Lekker dag,